We are going to have a lesson today. I'm going to introduce you to your higher self. So this should be interesting. I want to begin by telling you a story about a very good friend of mine. One day when we were in a very deep conversation, she told me she didn't believe in God. And I was surprised because this is a person who comes from the heart, and you would think that she believes in God. She's one of those people who are generous in every way. Her heart is full of love, compassion. She's always there to help. She makes contributions to people who are in less fortunate situations. And I asked her, why don't you believe in God? And she told me that it's because when she was younger, when she was a little girl, she prayed and prayed and prayed to be taken away from tormentors. Now, I know her story. I know her torment. And it's not for me to share, but I will say, I know about her mother. I know about her father. I know about her grandmother and her grandfather. And I know about other people in her life too, who abused this little girl. Sorry. And I said, what if I told you that you chose your parents? And she said, I never would have chosen these parents. And I asked her, what if I told you that maybe you chose these conditions to be in? And she's saying, no, I would never have chosen this. But I'm asking you all to consider the possibility that your higher self, your soul, before incarnating here, right now on this planet, in the third dimension of trials and tribulations, of duality. What if you chose to be here? Now, I'm not talking about your human self. I'm not talking about your personality. I'm talking about your higher self, your bright light, who you truly are, your spiritual self, your God self. That's who I'm talking about. And our small little personalities, we don't understand it. But I'm hoping to give you greater understanding before we leave today. I told my friend, you are such an advanced soul, because you chose such a challenge. And it's not, you probably have heard this, but it is so true. Please hold this in your mind. It is not what happens to you. It's what you do with what happens to you. And your soul is so advanced that it chose a particularly challenging life, knowing that it would be up to the challenge. And here's the challenge. No matter what happens to you, you can choose to be in fear or love. You can choose to be in fear or in love. What does it mean to be in fear? It means to be small, afraid, distrustful. It means all those lower frequency of emotions. But to choose love. So my friend, with the horrors of her childhood, I'm going to tell you another story. And maybe you've heard this story, but it begs being reminded in case you have. There were two brothers. And in their town where they lived all their lives, both of them, one was a doctor, a medical doctor, and he was well respected, and he was full of compassion and caring. And his brother was an alcoholic. He was the town drunk. And they were both interviewed at one point, and they were asked, "What made you who you are?" And you know what? They both had the same answer. "My father was an alcoholic," said the doctor. "My father was an alcoholic," said the town drunk. Now, my friend, she could have chosen to be the town drunk with such a horrific childhood, but she chose to be the well-respected, loving, caring, compassionate person who gave her all to life, gave her all, and still does to this day, not gave, but gives her all. Now, I'm wondering, maybe you're wondering, not my new friends here in Montreal, but if one of my other friends who know me very well and I know them very well are going, "Oh my gosh, she has revealed my secret that I haven't told anybody. She is not keeping my confidence." I would imagine that several of my friends could be thinking that. Here's why. How many of you have the same story? How many of you are thinking, "Whoa, how did she know?" Now, I know not everybody comes from dysfunction, but too many of us do. And some people come from greater dysfunction than others. And I think the ones who come from greater dysfunction are the ones who are the highly advanced spiritual ones who came to see if they would choose fear or love. And I know so many of you who are choosing love. Now, some of us come as teachers. We have lots of different roles that we've chosen to play before we land here. And I love our teachers. One of our teachers was Yeshua. Now, I choose to use the name Yeshua. Many of you have read about Jesus in the Bible. Did you know that Jesus is the Greek translation of Yeshua? Mother Mary named her son Yeshua. Yeshua came as a teacher. And Yeshua taught what? Of the choices we have, fear or love, what did Yeshua teach? I want to hear you say it. Love. Thank you. Always, no matter how threatening or threatened he was, always teaching love. You know, so I'm just going to give a few examples that I know of. And yes, they are from probably the past because I'm pretty aged, but and there's probably stories that are more current. Current. So you all remember Superman, Christopher Reeves. Do you remember Christopher Reeves? Oh my gosh. Handsome, strong, he embodied Superman, didn't he? It was not too long after he made that movie, then what happened? Do you remember? An accident on a horse, and he became not a paraplegic, but a quadriplegic. He could have become bitter from that, right? What did he do? He chose love. He used his money to start a foundation, money to do research on spinal cord injury. He used his money to bring to attention this serious condition and research. He lived from love and didn't let becoming a quadriplegic slow him down. What would you do? I hope we will all choose love, that we're still in service. What about Stephen Hawking? Brilliant scientist whose body, he chose that body. Before he incarnated, he chose that body because he's a teacher, that's why. Like Christopher Reeve, he chose that experience. Why? So he could be a teacher. So with this body all crippled up in a wheelchair and needing special equipment to be able to speak, Stephen Hawking continued to contribute to science, to society. He chose love. I bet you can come up with your own stories. In fact, speaking of stories, you did come down with your own story. You had a choice to come here in the third dimension. You chose a story to play out. And so it is that that is what you are doing. And who is you? It is said we are spiritual beings having a human experience, right? How many of us grasp this? How many of us grasp the hugeness of our spirit? So bright, so full of wisdom, so full of knowledge. Our spirit, our higher self, chose a personality. We chose this body, this personality, this body is so limited. And yet we think we know it all. What do we know? If we would listen to our higher selves, we would know. You all know me, I get emotional. I see your spirits. But when you look in the mirror, do you see your spirit or do you see the flaws of this body?
Honesty.
The body is the spirit's vehicle to get around, to experience the world. Guess what? You chose to come as an incarnated being here in the third dimension on this planet. You chose to have experiences. You chose to be here with experiences. Your big, bright, higher self chose to come into limitation, into this little teeny body. I know sometimes it feels big, but it's really teeny with your personality, full of flaws. This is flawed. The personality is flawed. Guess what? We have this opportunity to evolve away from our focus on this little teeny body and this little teeny personality, and to see ourselves as who we truly are within our capacity. And you know what? Every time it is revealed to us who we truly are is a highly evolved spiritual being. Every time you recognize that, go beyond the mirror and see yourself as who you truly are, it'll become easier and easier, easier and easier to see the truth. Isn't that amazing? I hope just to help this morning, just a little bit, as much as I can, to help you grasp the truth of who you are, having chosen to be here now. And all we are, it is said that we are given free will. We made all our choices before we came down. Now, the only choices are between fear and love in any situation. In any situation, how are you going to choose fear or love? And this is what you get to ponder this week. I hope that you do, because every time you ponder it, it brings you closer to knowing your true self, your spiritual self, your higher self. I think I've said it. I think I've said it. I'm going to take you on a journey with our meditation. But first, I need a drink of water. I invite you to close your eyes. I invite you to take your deep healing breaths. To relax your bodies. To empty your minds. To open your hearts. Because we are going on a journey. Are you ready? I want you to be fully attentive to this journey. I want you to see your higher self. Use your imagination. You are such a huge, bright, intelligent being. And you've been in many dimensions and many realms in eternity, far beyond human capacity to know. But you've been around for a long time. You've been on other planets, but you've also been on this planet. In a smaller form. You see, your spiritual self has chosen your personality that is evolving with each lifetime. So imagine your higher self going, whoa, going to planet Earth sounds pretty interesting. It's an Earth school with a playground. Oh, this should be fun. And I get to evolve this personality. All right. And so your higher self is putting a personality, your personality, its personality, into the body of a person who lives in a cave, surrounded by other souls who have chosen bodies and personalities to be together in a tribe. And it's dark and it's cold sometimes, and then one of you discovers fire. And then one of you discovers how to make a wheel, and you're all so appreciative. You're loving this. And then your higher self, that body grows old, it's put to rest, and your higher self then takes that personality and puts it in another lifetime, in another body. And this time it's going to learn something different. It's already built fire, learn to use a wheel. Ah, now your spirit has put your personality into a body that's going to learn to fly. And the airplane is discovered. And this is so remarkable. You have an opportunity to be in the air and to get somewhere very quickly. Remember in that last incarnation, your spirit, your higher self, put your personality in a body that had to cross the oceans and cross a large landmass. And always a choice to be miserable or to find joy. To have experiences of being in fear or being in love. And now, your personality has been in many lifetimes, in many bodies. And when each body has come to its end, sometimes your personality has been in a body of a man that has had to go to war. The government has said, or the country has said, we're going to war. And you're so full of fear because you know that that could be a way that your body comes to its end. But even in that kind of situation, are you in love or in fear? Remember the story from World War II, where the Western world was in the trenches? It was Christmas Eve. The Germans were in the trenches across the field with barbed wire between them all. And there was a ceasefire. And somebody began to sing Silent Night. And your personality in its body came out of that trench without fear, but with love. And on the other side of the barbed wire, someone else's personality in a body came out of their trench, and you met in the middle and you sang Silent Night together, you and the enemy. You expressed love. You may or may not have come home from that war, your body, but your personality evolved and knew that it did not like war. Your personality knew that it did not want to participate in war. And so that personality has evolved each time your higher self has put it into another body in another time. And now you are here. We are here. And we have been through so much in lifetime after lifetime, but we are evolving. And as our little personalities evolve, our higher self is having many experiences and always nudging us into the truth of knowing the truth of our being. Our spiritual self, our higher self, wants us to awaken to the truth, wants this personality right here to wake up and know it's just a small thing here, but it is giving higher self an experience for its own growth. And my higher self is always nudging me. All the mistakes I've made, all the so-called bad things I've done, it's always nudging me to come up, to be better, to forgive. Oh my gosh. Forgiveness is the biggest piece of love. Did you get that? And so, right now, we are here because we are choosing love. We are here because we can see many things. We can choose fear, but we are here right now because we are each evolving into love. And I have a song for you. And I want you to be ready for this song, being in your choice of love. And we're going to celebrate love any moment now. And if you feel like it, stand up and dance. Uh-oh, no sound. No sound. Oh, I'm so disappointed. This song is so great, and I'm sorry that it's not running. So it's the perfect end to this meditation. But you know, there's always technical difficulties, right? It's not going. Can we turn up the volume a little bit in case she does start getting it going?
It seems to be just is it on pause?
Yes, it seems to be.
What's on pause? Susan, would you come up here and see if everything's okay? Is it my end?
I won't know from just looking. Guess we'd have to see the at the bottom. Oh, if there's anything. Oh, no, that's taken us out of that.
Okay. Got it. Okay, you guys. So, you know what? This song would have been perfect if it hadn't been technical difficulties. So my friend Sean Galloway gives me permission to use this song. And it's so full of joy and love, and it's about choosing love. And I can choose war, or I can choose love. And then when they go, And then we do the love song. I choose love, I choose love. So, sorry that didn't work. I don't know what's happening.
I'm going to stop the recording now. But I think you muted us.